Welcome to League Basics, an introduction to the League of Women Voters of Wake County. This video is for anyone who is new to the League or just interested in learning more about the League of Women Voters. This video will introduce basic information about the League. I'll cover when and why the League was founded, what the mission and the core principle of the League is, the different things the League of Women Voters of Wake County does, the League's organizational structure, and how the League determines its positions on issues. The League of Women Voters was founded in 1920. 1920 was a significant year for women's rights. The 19th Amendment to the Constitution, recognizing women's right to vote, was finally ratified. Suffragists fighting for ratification recognized that once the right to vote was secured, they would still need to educate women about how the government works and get women registered to vote. They also wanted to be an influential voice on public policy issues. Suffragist Carrie Chapman Catt announced the formation of the League of Women Voters on February 14th of 1920. When the 19th Amendment was ratified, state and local suffrage organizations essentially transformed themselves into the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters of North Carolina, or LWV-NC, was founded in October of 1920. Gertrude Wheel was a suffragist and was president of the North Carolina Equal Suffrage Association. She became the first president of LWV-NC. You can see Gertrude Wheel pictured here in a very rare photo of North Carolina suffragists. In 1920, the Raleigh Equal Suffrage League transformed itself into the League of Women Voters of Raleigh, but it soon changed their name to the League of Women Voters of Wake County. The League in Raleigh first met on September 27, 1920. The founder and the first president was local suffragist Elsie Riddick. LWV-Wake was the first local league in North Carolina to be established, though other local leagues were soon established across the state. Currently, LWV-Wake is the largest local league in North Carolina. The League was founded at the national, state, and local levels by the very same suffragists that fought for the right to vote. Fighting for voting rights and encouraging voting continues to be a core activity. The League has a twofold mission: empower voters and defend democracy. How do we empower voters? We do that in a variety of ways. We encourage people to register and to vote. We provide election information, and we educate members and the public on important issues. How do we defend democracy? This portion of our mission is more advocacy-oriented. We advocate for voting rights and fair elections, and we advocate on a variety of public policy issues. Most of our advocacy work is done by League members who are volunteers. At the core of the mission is the principle of nonpartisanship. What does this mean? It means we never endorse or oppose candidates for office. This has been a core principle since the founding of the League of Women Voters in 1920. While the League of Women Voters never endorses or opposes candidates for office, being nonpartisan does not mean we are neutral on the issues. We do engage in advocacy and education on an array of political issues. However, all advocacy is done with a nonpartisan approach. Each local league determines what issues they will work on, depending on what's happening in their community, what's happening in their state, and the availability of volunteers to work on those issues. Because of our strict nonpartisan policy, some of our league leaders have restrictions on what they can personally do politically. Leaders who are under a stricter nonpartisan policy include the president of our local league, our voter services director, and any other leader who the board determines is so high profile when they're working on behalf of the league that the nonpartisan policy needs to apply to them. But keep in mind, most league members and most board members are not under these stricter nonpartisan restrictions. Let's look at what members, as well as nonpartisan leaders, can and can't do. Can a member run for or hold elected office? Of course, members are free to do this, and the league has many elected officials and candidates as members. Leaders within the league who are under the nonpartisan policy may not run for office. They would have to resign their league position before running for a political office. Can a league member hold an official position in a political party? Members are free to do this, and the league has many members who are active within their political parties. However, leaders under the nonpartisan policy may not do this. Can a member promote a candidate by donating to a campaign, helping fundraise, hosting political functions for a candidate, distributing campaign material, or engaging in other similar campaign activities? Members are free to do this. However, you may not distribute partisan material at league meetings and events. And league leaders who are under the nonpartisan policy may not do this at all. Can you display a campaign yard sign or bumper stickers on your car for a candidate? Members are free to do this, but again, you may not distribute partisan material at league meetings and events, and leaders under the nonpartisan policy may not do this. However, none of these restrictions apply to other members of the league leader's household. Can a league member express a preference for a political party or a candidate in the media or on social media? Members are free to do this as long as they're not speaking on behalf of the league. Your social media posts are your thoughts as a private citizen. However, league leaders under the nonpartisan policy may not do this. And finally, can a league member imply that the league endorses their personal political activities? No, for both members and nonpartisan league leaders. Never imply that you're doing something on behalf of the league unless you are in fact authorized to do so, or you're actually working on that project for the league within a committee. The bottom line is this. Unless you are the president or the voter services director, you can do pretty much anything you want politically outside the league, as long as you don't claim that it's a league activity if it's not. Let's now take a look at what the league actually does. At the core of the league are activities that promote participation in elections. Throughout the year, we register new voters. During election seasons, we're often involved in activities to get out the vote, or GOTV for short. For example, we'll sometimes run advertisements on local radio, or groups of league volunteers will write personal postcards to potential voters encouraging them to vote in the upcoming election. Or our league volunteers will canvass a neighborhood, leaving election information on people's doors. We also sponsor nonpartisan candidate forums for countywide and municipal candidates almost every year. And we provide nonpartisan election information in general. That could be at events where we have information tables, or through our separate website, vote411.org, where we provide nonpartisan election information on the candidates that will appear on our ballots. But the league does far more than just work on elections. We do engage in nonpartisan advocacy on a variety of issues. Our league members speak at government meetings, meet with elected officials, and write letters to the editor. all of that work is done in league committees by the members. Almost all the committees are open to any member who wants to join it. We host educational events for both members and the public to learn more about important issues in the community and in the state. For example, our monthly Timely Topics event features noted experts on particular issues. And in addition to that, we often have special events and webinars with guest speakers. We also occasionally offer training sessions on advocacy skills for our members. Our members can often be seen observing government meetings within the community. For example, our members are attending Board of Elections meetings, legislative hearings within our state legislature, county commissioner meetings, and their city council meetings. Attending government meetings lets elected officials know that the League is watching, and this promotes transparency in government. Observing government meetings is also the best way to learn about how government works. But we're not all work and no play. Our members do socialize and we do organize social activities, from holiday and summer parties for League members to meetups at a wine bar or over coffee, and field trips to interesting locations within our community. You'll find that League members, while they're doing important work, are also developing meaningful friendships. Volunteering is more enjoyable when you get to know each other. The League offers numerous opportunities for members to get involved, whether it's to work on a committee, join a book discussion, or just attend a social event. League members can do as much or as little as they want. The League is a three-tiered grassroots political organization. It's important to understand that we tend to be a bottom-up rather than a top-down organization. We're a grassroots political organization, and the local members are the grassroots. Hundreds of local leagues at the city and county level have been established throughout the nation. There are approximately 18 local leagues in North Carolina, but that number will fluctuate from year to year. Most of the work of the league is done at the local level by member volunteers. Local leagues take up both local and state issues. However, on state issues, they generally coordinate any advocacy with the state league. And what the local league does more than the state and the national level of the league is organize lots of events and activities for members and the public within its community. Each state has a state level league. Most state level leagues have limited or no staff, and the League of Women Voters of North Carolina currently has no staff. However, they have a board of directors. The State League coordinates positions on state level issues and engages in advocacy on those issues. Additionally, it's the state level League of Women Voters that will file lawsuits when that is necessary. The State League also hosts a biennial state convention that is open to all league members in the state, and from time to time, they'll host other special events, for example, special webinars that are also open to all league members in the state. The National League, or LWV-US, has a fully staffed headquarters office in Washington, D.C. They lobby Congress and have paid lobbyists, as well as a volunteer lobby corps made up primarily of members in the Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland area. The National League also files lawsuits at the national level when that is necessary. And the National League hosts an important biennial convention where all members are welcome to attend. It's at that national convention where the League members vote on any new positions that the League might take on issues. Again, keep in mind that we tend to be a bottom-up organization. LWV-US never dictates to a local league what issues it must work on. The local league determines what issues they will direct their resources to. When you join the League of Women Voters, you are automatically a member at all 3 levels, and you can attend the conventions and the annual meetings for your local league, your state league, and your national league. Membership dues are also divided 3 ways. For example, of a $60 individual membership, $32 goes to LWV-US, $12 goes to LWV-NC, and only $16 is kept by LWV-Wake. So we supplement the budget through fundraising and grants. Donations sent to LWV-US or the state league are not automatically shared with the local league. That donation must be made directly to the local league for them to receive the funds. Local leagues do get to keep all funds raised through donations or fundraising events, which is why you will see LWV-Wake occasionally do fundraisers. Our local LWV-Wake League tends to be more collaborative rather than top-down in its approach. Rather than a hierarchy, think of LWV-Wake as having 4 parts that work in coordination. First, we have the general membership, and this includes active members who volunteer, but it also includes members who are not active but pay their membership dues to support our mission, and they are also important. Without them, we would not have the funds we need to accomplish our mission. Then we have committee members. In general, we have 3 types of committees. Issue-oriented committees work on specific political issues, for example, affordable housing, or the environment, or women's rights. Our operations committees help operate the organization, for example, our communications committee, development committee, or bylaws committee. And we have social-oriented committees that engage the membership and help members connect with one another. For example, our social committee, our field trip committee, and our League Lit book discussion groups. Keep in mind that all of our committees are open to any league member. And then, of course, we have our committee chairs. Chairs are usually selected by the committee members themselves. Within LWV-Wake, we encourage multiple co-chairs within a committee in order to make the work easier and to spread leadership opportunities. Within committees, you may have additional project leaders that are working or leading specific projects. Chairs coordinate the activities of the committee, but of course they shouldn't do all the work themselves. That's an entire committee effort. Chairs also submit requests for approval of activities and recommendations for action to the board. We do have a board of directors who is elected by the members at the annual meeting. The members of the board of directors manage the operation of the organization, and they're responsible for approving league actions and activities. Each committee typically has a liaison to the board in order to make sure that the board knows what's happening within all of the committees. The board of directors for LWV-Wake functions much like the paid staff at a nonprofit, with the president largely fulfilling what would be the equivalent role of an executive director. Remember, we're an all-volunteer organization at the local level with no paid staff, so our board and volunteers have to do everything necessary to operate a successful organization. Now that you have a basic understanding of the League's history and how it operates, lastly, let's look at how positions on issues are established. Almost all League positions are found in the LWV-US publication Impact on Issues. It can be purchased inexpensively from Amazon, or it can be viewed and downloaded for free from the LWV-US website. You should also be able to find a link to that publication on the lwvwake.org website in its Policies and Procedures page. An Impact on Issues contains all the positions that have been approved by the membership at national conventions. State leagues may develop additional positions with approval by that state's membership on issues specific to their state, as long as they don't conflict with any national positions. And local leagues may do the same thing on very specific local issues. If we want to act on an issue, there are typically three ways we determine the league's position. We can connect our local or state issue to an established LWV-US position. We could concur with another league's position, or we could establish a new league position through study and consensus. Let's take a look at all three approaches. If our local league wants to take action on a particular issue, the first thing we would try to do is connect our local or state issue to an established LWV-US position. To do that, we would simply review the Impact on Issues booklet and identify the relevant section that would enable us to take action on that issue. For example, LWV-US already has a position on redistricting reform to end gerrymandering. So, here at the local league, we don't really need to establish a new position in order to work on that issue. The other option is to concur with another league's position. If it's an issue that LWV-US does not address, but another state's league or another local league somewhere across the nation has developed a position with which our local league agrees, we can simply adopt that position for ourselves through concurrence. And at that point, we can then work and take action on that issue. If it's a new issue and the National League has no official position, and there are no other local or state leagues that have taken up the position, then we must go through the study and consensus process. We would have to form a study committee that would thoroughly research the issue. That committee then, through the process of discussion, not voting, would reach a consensus on a position on that issue. Remember that league positions are not influenced by positions of political parties, so it's all based on thorough research. At the point at which the committee reaches a consensus, they would seek approval of the position from the local board. If it's a state-level issue, they would seek approval from the state league. If we want it adopted at the national level, we would seek approval from LWV-US and ask that the national membership vote on that position at its next convention. Sometimes this entire process can take a couple years. Keep in mind, all of the issues that appear in Impact on Issues have gone through this study and consensus process. However, there are very few issues that we take up that can't connect to something already in the Impact on Issues booklet. So normally, we're able to avoid the longer concurrence or study and consensus processes. Hopefully you now have a clearer understanding of when and why the League was founded, our mission and core principle of nonpartisanship, the variety of activities the League engages in, our organizational structure, and in general, how we determine our positions on issues. Eleanor Roosevelt was a political activist and a very influential First Lady. She was also very involved in the League of Women Voters. In fact, she served as the LWV-US Vice President of Legislative Affairs in the 1920s. What she had to say still accurately describes the true benefits of being an active League member. She wrote, "I've always found that the best workers in a political party frequently are graduates of the League of Women Voters," she wrote in 1953. "Members learn how to find out what they really want to know on a wide variety of subjects. The League trains good citizens who have a sense of responsibility about what goes on in their locality, in their state, and in their nation." If you'd like to join or learn more about the League of Women Voters of Wake County, you can visit us at lwvwake.org. Thank you for your interest in the League of Women Voters.